This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks. It wasn't an epic battle, but in a preview of the NBA Cup quarterfinals matchup, the Knicks defeated the Toronto Raptors 116-94, ladies and gentlemen. And a good performance by the Knicks, I think. I think it was a good performance by the Knicks. And yeah, I know they started off hot with a 24-point lead, right? Blowing them out. And then they let them back in the game and they cut it to 5. The Toronto Raptors did. They cut it to 5. But the Knicks withstood the charge, ladies and gentlemen, and end up blowing the Toronto Raptors out. And a preview of the NBA Cup quarterfinals, a message to the Toronto Raptors that you're not better than us. The New York Knicks now 10-1 at home. They've won 4 in a row. I like that. You know what I mean? And they're not playing great basketball. They're not. They're not playing great basketball, but ladies and gentlemen, they're still winning while they're not playing great basketball. And Sean, you said Mike Brown is indeed hunting for wins. Well, yeah, he is. He's getting the win. He wants the wins. Yes. And his actions say so. But, you know, if you indeed need to go back to that, there was a point in time where he said something different. Okay? But anyway, good win by the New York Knicks. You know what I mean? Good balanced scoring. Heroes abound for the New York Knicks. Right? As happens on most nights. And I know. There's been, a lot of people had a lot to say in my comments about, what I was talking about and saying about Cat and all that kind of stuff. And I dig it. I get it. It doesn't change. What I think doesn't change. You understand what I'm saying? But there were a few moments tonight where Cat did some things that I really want him to do. There was a point, maybe it was third quarter, I don't know. Yeah. Where he went to the basket really hard and just bulled his way and knocked people out the way and scored the bucket. Got fouled. I don't remember if he scored the bucket, but maybe he did both. Maybe he scored the bucket and got fouled. Maybe he got fouled. I don't remember. I just know he pushed his way to the basket. Cat can do that on most nights. Just need him to do it all the time. And I was very proud that he did that. You understand what I'm saying? So the Knicks played a good game tonight. They won. But they played a good game. You know what I mean? And in the NBA, there are going to be runs. Teams are going to get back in. But the Knicks didn't fold. As a matter of fact, they took over the game. They understood that this was serious when the Raptors got back in it, and they flexed their muscles. It showed the Raptors that you aren't really good competition for us. You aren't competition for us. Yeah, you come into this game second in the Eastern Conference, but it won't be for long. The Knicks dominated the glass tonight. And when I say dominated, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks dominated the glass tonight. 61 to what is that, 42? Something like that. 61-40. That's domination on the glass, and we owe that, ladies and gentlemen, to Mitchell Robinson. To Mitchell Robinson, and I see it's all zeros up there. We'll get that corrected. Worry about that. We owe that to Mitchell Robinson, though. Mitchell Robinson was dominant on the glass in 17 minutes. He dominated the glass. I don't think there's an NBA player in this league that can do that besides Mitchell Robinson. Name one. Name another one. I don't think there is. It's just Mitch. And you know, it's amazing that he can do it that way. You know, you talk about maximizing your minutes, right? Maximizing your minutes. Being a star in your role. You heard Monica McNutt, if you watched the postgame show, you heard Monica McNutt talk about these guys being stars in their roles. I mean, that is the epitome of being a star in your role. 15 rebounds in 17 minutes? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. What would happen, ladies and gentlemen, if Mitchell Robinson was able to play 30 minutes a game? We'll go over those game stats a little bit later. But what would happen if Mitch could play 30 minutes a game? I mean, I doubt he would average 25 rebounds or 20 rebounds. I don't know. Maybe he would. Because he's doing things like this consistently. Obviously, there's nights where he only has 6 or 7. But consistently, this guy gets double-digit rebounds and only playing 16 minutes a game or something like that. Now, I see somebody said that's the thing, he can't. You know, meaning that he can't stay healthy. I get that. I understand. Right? JJ said he can't, right? Because he can't stay healthy. But what if he could? And I guess that's why I'm asking that question when I say, what if he could play 30 minutes a game? What if he could stay healthy? You know, would he grab that many? Would he grab 20 rebounds a game? I mean, his rebounding has been ridiculous this season, and the amount of minutes that he's playing. I feel like it's unprecedented in the amount of minutes that he's playing. You know what I mean? Mitchell Robinson, man. I mean, you know, only 2 points, 15 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds, 8 defensive rebounds. You know, that's monster basketball play. And I'm telling you right now, when the playoffs, that's going to come in, it's going to come in big. It's going to be big in the playoffs. You know, when he's rebounding at this type of a clip. I do wish that he could play 20 to 30 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes a game, but what can you do? We'll take what we can get from him, right? We'll take what we can get from him. But you got to love it. You got to love that kind of effort that he puts out there on the floor night in and night out when he's only getting 15, 16 minutes per game. You know what I mean? And when he's out there with Karl Anthony Towns, he's able to, you know, he allows Karl Anthony Towns to rest, kind of, in that area, right? Because Cat doesn't have to worry about, you know, being solely responsible for rebounding. Not that he is solely responsible for rebounding, but he doesn't have to be a demon out there on the glass. You know, because Mitch is out there, you know, grabbing those type of boards. Obviously, Josh Hart grabs boards too. You know, but, you know, I can't say enough about Mitch's rebounding this season. And the Knicks, you know, one of the areas that when Julius Randle was traded last season, one of the areas people worried about was rebounding. I think the Knicks have proven that they can be a top rebounding team regardless, because Cat can rebound the basketball. Obviously, Mitch can rebound the basketball. Josh Hart can rebound the basketball. And OG grabbed some boards too. You know what I mean? The Knicks could probably be, and might be, I haven't really checked the stats on it, the best rebounding team in the league. Definitely the best offensive rebounding team in the league. The Knicks had 25 offensive rebounds tonight. 25 offensive rebounds. Yeah, that's a ridiculous number. And I'm glad it's a number, I'm glad the Knicks did it. I'm glad it's the Knicks grabbing those kind of rebounds and not vice versa, where some other team is grabbing those rebounds against us. But still, that's a crazy number. And again, that rebounding is going to come in so handy in the playoffs because, when you get in the playoffs, shooting gets a little worse, right? Because the defenses pick up so much, shooting gets worse. You're going to need guys to be able to rebound the ball at such a high clip, and the Knicks have them. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. Anyway, 2 points, 15 rebounds for Mitch in just 16 minutes and 46 seconds. The Knicks were led in scoring by Karl Anthony Towns, 22 points, 8 rebounds by Cat. Shot 53% from the field, 25% from three. And tonight, Cat kind of picked his spots. It wasn't always easy for him, but he picked his spots and then attacked when he picked his spots. 15 shot attempts for Cat is much more like it. Much more like it, ladies and gentlemen. And I still like to see him up around towards 17, 18. But the shot attempts, several people in double-digit shot attempts tonight. Mikal Bridges, 10. Josh Hart, 12. Karl Anthony Towns, 15. Brunson, 19. McBride, 11. Jordan Clarkson, 13. Right, and then guys like Mitch had 4. Yabusele had 5, who played a fairly decent game today. Tyler Kolek, 6 shot attempts. Diawara had 1. Though that's how you want your shot attempts to look that way. All of your starters in double digits. All of them. Right? Again, Karl Anthony Towns led the team in scoring with 22 points. Josh Hart had 20 points, almost a triple-double for Josh Hart. 20 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 turnovers for Josh Hart. But he was balling. He shot 66.7% from the field. He shot 57% from the three-point line. And he just hustled all over the place. Always got to give it up for Josh Hart. Mikal Bridges, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Again, filling up the stat sheet. He's shooting the ball well, ladies and gentlemen. 60% from the field, 50% from the three-point line. And he's quietly being one of the Knicks' most steady players. He's not loud. He's not loud with it. He hasn't had one of these monster games yet, but he's been consistent, very consistent. And you already know I have my things with Mikal Bridges as far as the aggressiveness sometimes. Fading into the background because he has some talent and ability, but consistently this guy's giving you numbers across the board. You're not giving him the ball in crunch time and telling him to go get it. At least not right now. You're not spotlighting just him or featuring just him. You know what I mean? But he's been very, very consistent this year in the number and the stats that he's giving you across the board. Every single game, he fills up the stat sheet. Fills up the stat sheet. He's got 5 personal fouls, and I'll take all 5 of them. That means he's playing defense. Kerry Cox said Bridges is playing out of position. Okay, that's possible. It's possible. But even if he's playing out of position, he's filling up the stat sheet. You know what I mean? And every single night. Every single night. J-Rock said he clamped up Ingram. Yeah, he played some D on Ingram. You know what I mean? I like what I'm seeing, even though, he does leave me wanting more sometimes. JJ. But I like that he's filling up the stat sheet. Jordan Clarkson, 13 points tonight. Clarkson is a little bit wild sometimes and all of that stuff. So, I expect him to be up and down. If he's there, but if he's having a bad night, I'm not mad. Because it's what I expect from him. Deuce, ladies and gentlemen, 14 points for Deuce. An amazing first quarter. 12 points in the first quarter for Deuce. He's shooting the three ball out of his mind right now. And he looks very comfortable in that starting lineup. And so does Josh Hart. So when OG comes back, there's going to be, Mike Brown has a decision to make as far as who's going to be the starter. I think he's coming off the bench. I think that's solidified. So now it's going to be between Deuce and Josh Hart. I'm still going with Deuce, me. I think he's a better three-point shooter than Josh Hart. And I like Josh Hart's energy coming off the bench. You know what I mean? I like that energy. I understand he's comfortable right now in that starting spot. But Josh Hart is going to give you energy no matter what. No matter if he's starting, if he's coming off the bench, he's bringing you and giving you energy. It's just who he is and how he plays. So, yeah, I would like for Deuce to start and Josh Hart to come off the bench. Bring that energy off the bench. Deuce seems comfortable next to Jalen Brunson. You know what I mean? And he gives you another, Josh Hart is decent with the ball, but gives you another steady ball handler. Speed, he's got some lightning quick speed out there. And he gives you a guard that can defend, the best, that could defend a quick point guard if he's out there on the floor. Right? So, I'm really leaning towards Deuce being in that starting spot. Right? JJ said, OG's not getting benched, not with that salary. Nah, there's no way OG's getting benched because you need that height. Even regardless of the salary, you need that height in the lineup, in my opinion. Right? OG's got a lot of size. He's got tree trunks for legs. He's got length. He's athletic. We need OG's size out there on the floor. Because if you look at the starting lineup right now, it's small. There's no doubt about it. We're faster, but we're small. Jalen Brunson, Deuce McBride, both guys like 6'2". Josh Hart is 6'4". Bridges is 6'6". And then you got Cat at 7 foot. You know what I mean? So having OG out there on the floor, probably replacing Josh Hart, in my opinion, because Josh Hart is playing the 4 position, I guess, whatever you want to call it, gives you more size out there on the floor. Now OG's like 6'8". And he's got length. He's got, good arm length. He can defend 4, maybe 5 positions. Well, mostly 4 and sometimes 5 positions. Right, so he gives you more versatility defensively. Right, he can bully his way to the basket. Then you get the burst of energy of Josh Hart coming off the bench. So, that just adds to our depth. So, yeah, definitely want to see Deuce McBride in that starting lineup. I like the way it looks there. From the beginning of the season, when I was paying attention to Mike Brown, I'm still paying attention, but when I was paying attention to Mike Brown's lineups, I felt like the lineup with Deuce was the best lineup, right? And that's what I liked the most. And I think that's what Mike Brown is probably going to go with. So you got to, Deuce is playing with confidence. You know what I mean? And he can go 35, 36, 37, 38 minutes and still give you the same energy, just like Josh Hart can. You know what I mean? And when you have both of them out there, it's part of the reason why our defense is picked up. Both of those guys out there on the floor in that starting lineup, it's trouble for opposing guards because they both defend so well. You know what I mean? And they're both just scrappy players. Josh Hart is just, a ball of energy and just can go. You know what I mean? No matter what, no matter if he's not playing, if he's not shooting the ball well, whatever it is, he's going to be a problem because of the energy that he brings to the basketball game. That's Josh Hart. We know that. Let's take a look at the Toronto Raptors box score. They were led in scoring by Emmanuel Quickly. You guys remember IQ, and he was hot from the three-point line tonight, 4 for 10. Third quarter, he really, he had a point, second, third quarter where he really got hot from the three-point line and was knocking things down. Brought the Raptors back into the game. Just wasn't enough. Scotty Barnes, 18 points. Brandon Ingram, 14 points, only shot 36% from the field. Right? The only three, they had a fourth. Murray Boyles, he had 11 points. 4 guys in double digits, just not enough. They only took 88 shot attempts, shot 42% from the field, the Raptors did. Of course, RJ Barrett was not playing tonight. I'm pretty sure he'll be playing in Toronto, not this Tuesday coming up, but next Tuesday for the NBA Cup quarterfinals game. I'll be there, as a matter of fact. I'm looking forward to that game. You know what I mean? Want to see the Knicks get that win and continue advancing in this tournament. Would love to see the Knicks in the championship. But that's going to be a battle. There's no doubt about it. That's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. And I'm looking forward to it. RJ Barrett, I'm sure, will be playing in that game. IQ, obviously Brandon Ingram. Those guys will be playing, and there'll be a little bit more competition. They'll play better, I think. So that's going to be a good one. They'll make some adjustments. You know what I mean? And after getting blown out here, they're going to really, for that game, they're going to break down the tape and really try to make some adjustments. So, I'm looking forward to Mike Brown understanding the type of adjustments they might make and going out and getting that win. I want to hunt that win, Sean Richardson. I want to hunt that win. I want that win. For the game tonight, ladies and gentlemen, of course, the Knicks win it 116-94. 61 rebounds for the Knicks tonight. I can't say enough about the rebounding of this team. Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, Cat. 61 rebounds tonight, 27 assists for both teams, 9 steals for both teams, 3 blocks for the Knicks, 6 for the Raptors, 18 turnovers for both teams. All right, the Knicks were a little turnover happy tonight. They won, but they were a little bit turnover happy. I ain't got to take care of that basketball at all costs. But they got the win tonight because the Raptors also had 18 turnovers. 42% from the field for the Raptors, 45.8% for the Knicks. The Knicks only shot 35.6% from the three-point line, but it was good enough tonight. They shot much better in the first half. They must shot much better in the first quarter than the second quarter. Right? When the Raptors came storming back. But the Raptors only 29.7% from the three-point line, and that is a wonder playing the Knicks because the Knicks give it up from the three-point line, but they didn't tonight. Only 52.9% from the free throw line for the Raptors, 75% for the Knicks. Both teams, 48 points in the paint. 22 second chance points for the Knicks. That incredible rebounding, of course. And then fast break points, Toronto 25 and the Knicks 11. So, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Knicks move to second place in the Eastern Conference behind the Detroit Pistons. But teams are beginning to starting around in the shape a little bit, right? Starting around in the shape. I didn't expect that the Toronto Raptors were going to, continue to do what they were doing. But it's rounding in the shape a little bit. The Pistons are now 16-4, so they've come back down to earth. The Raptors, 14-7. They've lost their last two. The Knicks have won 4 straight, and they're 13-6. 2.5 games behind the Detroit Pistons. The Miami Heat are 13-7. Orlando is 13-8. I'm sorry, Atlanta is 13-8, and Orlando is 12-8. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 12-9. Surprisingly, they've lost their last 3. The Celtics are 11-9. All right, so they're keeping themselves in the hunt. Philadelphia is 10-9. Chicago is 9-10. That rounds out your top 10 right there. All right, Milwaukee Bucks, who just won their last game, after losing to the Knicks, they go and they beat the Nets. Right, so they're 9-12. The Charlotte Hornets 6-14. All these teams are outside the top 10. Charlotte, Indiana, Brooklyn, Washington, outside the top 10. Milwaukee, you could see them crawl into the top 10. You'll expect with Giannis there, they would get better. But look, Cleveland, you would think that at some point they're going to rise and maybe Toronto's going to fall and they'll replace the Raptors within the top 6. The Pistons, I think they're going to remain one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. I think they are. I think they will be. They have they built it correctly. They have chemistry. They play defense. They have a leader out there on the floor. They have a lot of what you need to win in this league. So we'll see. I mean, they won, I think, 50 games last year. So, they are a strong basketball team. And, it might be New York and Detroit vying for these top 2 spots. We'll see if Cleveland can get themselves together. I don't know what's happening there, but we'll see if they can get themselves together. But the Knicks are making the push that they're supposed to make right now. 10-1 at home, only 3-5 on the road. Right? But they're turning that around. Turning that around, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, the New York Knicks have the second best home record in the league, only behind Oklahoma City, who is 20-1. Right? OKC is 10-0 at home and 10-1 on the road. They've won 12 straight. Playing amazing basketball to start the season. The Lakers are 14-4, second in the Western Conference. Houston is 13-4, third in the Western Conference. Denver is 14-5. San Antonio is 13-6, and Minnesota is 12-8 to round out the top 6. And then Phoenix is 12-9. Golden State is 11-10. Memphis is 8-12. Portland is 8-12 to round out the top 10. And then you got Utah, Dallas, Sacramento, LA, and the Pelicans to finish off the rest of the Western Conference. We're going to see what happens when the Knicks begin to really dive into this Western Conference. We've played a couple of teams, but, we played Memphis. We played, who else we played? Played Minnesota, Dallas, whoever else. I don't remember, but we're going to dive deeper in. When we get to the OKCs and the Lakers and the Houston Rockets, we're going to be tested, and we are going to really, really see who we are. Those are going to be the games we're expecting to truly step up. Kev, you said 20-1 is crazy, but my prediction remains they won't repeat. 20-1 is definitely crazy for OKC. I mean, damn, 20 20 wins, 1 loss right now. It's almost like they start the season. I mean, they almost start 21-0. They almost start 21-0. That's crazy. Yeah, you said they won't repeat, but right now they look tough. Very tough. Very, very tough. You know, the Public Enemy said, I'm not afraid of Kate Cunningham, a.k.a. Gregory Abbott. I'm not afraid of Cunningham, but I'm afraid. I'm not going to say I'm afraid of the Pistons. I respect the Pistons. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that. You know what I mean? Anyway, good win for the New York Knicks. They're repositioning themselves in the Eastern Conference. Okay, repositioning themselves throughout the league. Right? Because, you know, they kind of had, you know, maybe a little bit of a rocky start, if that's what you want to say. You know, right now, I mean, listen, the Knicks are one of the top teams in the league. There's no doubt about it. But the Eastern Conference, that top 5 in the Eastern Conference is tough. The Knicks got to, if they want to win a championship, they got to prove that they can beat these teams. They got to prove to themselves that they can beat these teams, especially OKC. Because I know Kev doesn't believe that OKC is going to win it this year, but they're awfully tough. You know what I mean? And they're the reigning champs, and they're 20-1. That's crazy business. That's crazy work. You know what I mean? That's crazy work. But you got to like the position that the Knicks are in right now. Okay? And they need to be in this position because we've lost to Orlando twice already. You know, we probably have lost the season series to them. I think we only play them 3 times. You know what I mean? So we've got to be number 1 or number 2 so that we don't lose seeding to a team like the Orlando Magic. And I think when we play the Magic next, which, if I'm not mistaken, maybe this next game, this is when we got to get a win. No, we play Boston next. I'm sorry. Play Boston on Tuesday at 8 o'clock in Boston. We need that win. All right, continue to exert dominance over teams that we're supposed to. Right? But when we play Orlando next, we play Orlando December 7th, just before we go to Toronto at home. So we play Boston on Tuesday. Wednesday night, we play Charlotte at home. Then we play Utah at home. Okay, so we're going to have a chance. We'll have a chance to go 5-0, 6-0, 7-0 before we have to play Orlando again. Okay, our toughest competition in this stretch right here coming up is going to be Boston. They're 11-9. We still should be able to beat Boston, but this next 3 games, that's our toughest competition. Boston Celtics, Charlotte, Utah, and then Orlando. The only team to beat us at the Garden so far this season. And I'm sure they have the utmost confidence playing against us. I'm sure they feel like they can beat us whenever because they've beaten us twice. They've out-muscled us, out-hustled us. We need to get that win. That's next Sunday, a week from now. I'm not looking over these games, but I really want that Orlando Magic game. I really want to get that win versus the Orlando Magic. I really want to. And then, after that Magic game, we travel to Toronto to play in the NBA Cup quarterfinals. And I'm expecting us, but I'm expecting us to get that win. Expecting us to get that win. All right, and then I see Jeremy said 12-7 Orlando, 12-21 Miami. Yes, Miami's beaten us twice. So this is a time for us to tie the series, right? And I know it's early in the season, but these things count. They matter. When we start talking about tiebreakers and all of these things, it matters. We need to beat Miami on December 21st. Right? Listen, when we're talking about Eastern Conference games and we're talking about division games, they're important. There are no games that you just say, no, they're important. We got to get them. You know what I mean? We got to get them. Give me a call, ladies and gentlemen, 516-362-5212. I know a lot of you guys are probably watching football, getting ready for work, all that kind of stuff, trying to relax. But if you got a moment, give us a call. I want to talk to you. I want to know what you're thinking about tonight's game. How you feel right now with the Knicks on a 4-game win streak and the possibility of extending it to a 7-game win streak before we see Orlando. You know what I mean? JJ said Orlando wants smoke. Orlando has size at every position, and it's absurd. But we've got to figure out how to beat those teams, though. That's the thing. Because there's a possibility that we face this team in the playoffs, right? It's a possibility. And a strong possibility. Because right now, we're second in the Eastern Conference, right? Which means we would end up playing the 7th seeded team in the Eastern Conference. Well, Orlando is 6th right now, a half a game above the Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, if you fall into that play-in position, then, you got to play into your spot. But if things stay the way they are, for the most part, there's a chance we'll play the Orlando Magic. They could rise, they could fall, whatever. We could rise, we could fall. But there's going to be a good chance. So we've got to figure out something, a way to defeat that size, a way to, a way to win against that size. J-Rack said they're 6th, but they started off 1-4. Very true. They started off 1-4. You know what I mean? Still, there's a chance that we have to face them in the playoffs. We got a long time for the playoffs, but the chance is there. So we got to figure out how we deal with their size. And listen, from everything that we hear, Mike Brown and the coaching staff has this team very, very prepared, right? And they look at a lot of tape and they do a lot of strategizing and preparation and all of that. So we got to figure out what we do against the Orlando Magic. You know what I mean? Got to figure that out. But anyways, a very good game from the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. Proud of the win. I was a little nervous about this game for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe because it was IQ and RJ Barrett who didn't play, because it was those guys coming to the Garden. So I was a little bit nervous about it. Definitely wanted to get the game, and I wanted to send a message to them when we talk about the NBA Cup quarterfinals. And I'm sure they wanted to send a message to us. So it's a good win. Good win. A lot of things to feel good about. Again, I feel really good about the shot distribution. I feel really good about the rebounding that we had tonight. We won a game where it wasn't pretty, but we still managed to win by double digits, although it wasn't pretty. Right? We won a game where we was up by big. They came back, and then we managed to go up big again. So we managed to stay focused throughout the ups and downs of a basketball game, which is important. So I like that about tonight's game. And I like the fact, ladies and gentlemen, that the Knicks defense over the last 4 games has been good. Right? Listen, there's still some holes. So I'm not saying it's perfect. There's holes. Right? But it's been good. They've been able to hold teams to a low scoring output. Right? So, you got to be impressed by it. I am. You look at, let me get to it. Sunday, November 9th. Well, no, not there. Not that one. That's not where I want to go. It's not where I want to go. Let me see. Where do I want to go? I want to go to the last 4 games. Right? We held the Brooklyn Nets to 100 points. We held the Hornets to 101 points. We held the Bucks to 109 points. And now we held the Toronto Raptors to 94 points. Right? The most the team has scored on us in the last 4 games is 109. Now, of course, listen, that's Brooklyn. That's the Hornets. The Raptors were second in the Eastern Conference coming into the game, so we held them to 94, and then we held the Bucks to 109. You know what I mean? That's decent defense there. That's good defense. We've got to keep that up. We got to find a way to package that so we can do that against good basketball teams. There's going to be nights, though. There's going to be nights where it's high-scoring affair, and we know that. But we want it to be more nights that we're holding teams to a low scoring output, low shooting percentages, etc. And it's going to take some time with this basketball team for the defense to be where I think we expect it to be. All right, but right now, the Knicks have the fifth best scoring output in the league. They average 120.4 points per game. The Denver Nuggets are number 1 at 124.8. All right, so our offense is beginning to round into shape. Okay, we have the number 3 offensive rating in the league at 120.5. Defensively, we're number 12 at 113.1. Now, there was a point in time where we were lower than that. Kind of bounced, especially early in the season. It kind of bounced up and down. We've played more games. Things are beginning to get more steady. 113.1, it's not terrible. It's not great. We can get better, though. We can get into the top 10. Listen, Detroit Pistons are 5 at 111.3. The Knicks are 12 at 113.1. If we play tough enough defense, we can move into the top 10, the top 5. I'll take top 10. I'll be comfortable with that. As long as our offense remains top 3. Net rating, the Knicks are 4th in net rating throughout the league at 7.4. So they're winning by a margin of 7.4 points per game. The only 2 teams winning by a double-digit margin are the Oklahoma City Thunder at 15.3 points per game and the Houston Rockets at 12 points per game. So, that's not bad. Assist percentage, the Knicks assist on 63% of their passes. That's 13th in the league. All right, but let me explain something to you, though. Because you might look at that and say, but guess what? Your best teams, Oklahoma City assists on 60% of their passes. Right? That's 27th in the league. The Houston Rockets assist on 58% of their passes. That's 29th in the league. All right, I'm okay. I'm okay where they are. So listen, good win for the Knicks. We're off to Boston. We need to flex our muscle in Boston, take care of business, win that game, and move on to, higher ground. Continue winning. It's time for us. Some of these other top teams have been on streaks. It's time for us to streak. Dig what I'm saying? It's time for us to be on a winning streak. The defense is picking up. The offense is top 3 in the league. We got guys on the team who only care about the team. You got to love it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to love it. Anyway, listen. It's a good win by the Knicks. Good preview. Way to send a message. I'm going to head up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, because I too need to get ready for tomorrow. I'm going to try to jump on tomorrow, talk about a few other topics. I want you to look forward to, I got a new Knicks 120, kind of a summation of the week. That'll be out tomorrow. It's a little highlight mix with me talking in the background, so make sure you check that out. I have more of the comic book stuff coming up, so make sure you check that out. Keep abreast of that. Stay aware of that, because we're doing some things with the comic book stuff, you know what I mean, that we hope you're going to enjoy. JJ says, Sim, you got to check out the TD catch that just happened in the Commanders game. It's crazy. I'm definitely going to check that out. Without a doubt. You know what I mean? But, stay up on the MBK comic stuff, ladies and gentlemen. The Mecca League. Group of New York Knicks superhero characters led by Captain Clutch, which is Jalen Brunson. And yes, we were the first to coin that, so remember that. We got the Warden, and we got some other guys coming up. So just be ready. Just be ready. We got some dope content coming to you within the next couple of weeks and months, all surrounding the Mecca League. Kind of like the Justice League, but the Mecca League. You get it? Defending the Mecca. Defending Madison Square Garden. So pay attention to that. I'm saying, Mike Morgan said that's dope. Send those comments. Thank you. We appreciate that. We got more coming. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna delve into a whole nother universe and world. You know what I mean? It's gonna be dope. Yeah. The Mecca League, Captain Clutch, the Warden, and more to come. So pay attention to it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm heading up out of here, but I will jump on. Oh, hold up. I got a call coming in, so we might as well take a call or two. Then I'll head up out of here. I got my brother Corey from Rochester on the line. Corey, what's poppin' with you, bro? How you feeling?
Oh, man, I am feeling fascinated right now. How about you?
I feel good, baby. I feel good. You know what I'm saying?
How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was beautiful. How was yours?
Great. Just like Tony the Tiger.
I like to hear that. I like to hear that.
Thank you, bro.
So you thought, did you watch the game?
I kind of watched the score, but I kind of, took a little sneak peek. But as long as the score was keeping me good, I knew we were gonna win.
Baby.
But I'm gonna watch the score. I'm gonna watch the game on my phone and watch the replay.
Okay. Yeah, watch the replay. We need you watching the games, man. We need you watching the games. We're on a 4-game win streak. We're 10-1 at home so far this season. We're 13-6, second place in the Eastern Conference. Ready to make a move on the first place spot. Need you watching.
Oh yeah.
We need you watching.
I got you.
Need you
but
watching.
Don't worry, Tuesday. I definitely will be watching Tuesday.
No doubt. That's against the Boston Celtics, one of our arch rivals. So we got to get that win. We're gonna have a chance to go 7-0 before or chance to be on a 7-game win streak before we get to Orlando.
Oh yeah,
Team that's beaten us
that's a game.
twice.
Can't wait.
You know what I mean? We need to get that win.
We need to.
We need that one. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Anyway.
All right. So,
any thoughts?
What's your first question you want to ask me?
Yeah, I'm just wanting to know how you're feeling about the team right now. I mean, right now, we're playing decent basketball. Not great, but playing decent basketball. You know, we're proving that we can rebound. You know, maybe one of the best rebounding teams in the league. OG's not even playing right now, and we're proving that. How do you feel about the starting lineup? How do you feel about when OG comes back? Who should go out of the starting lineup? What's your thoughts on that?
Good question, Sim. I think, to be honest with you, if OG comes back, who has to go out of the starting lineup? I would have to probably take out Mitchell Robinson, because that way he will keep the second unit in good shape with the defense.
Well, he's not in the starting lineup right now.
Oh, my mistake. Matter of fact, I'm going to have to probably put Josh Hart back on the bench, because that way we'll still have a key piece, you know what I'm saying, to help keep the bench intact.
Yeah.
When, if the offense struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to go and put Josh Hart back on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with it, too, putting Josh Hart back on the bench. And it just adds to our depth. You know what I mean? And Josh Hart's going to get his 30 minutes anyway, because
regardless,
of who he is, you know? Yeah.
But that contract he signed, Sam, worth that 4-year, worth $81 million, he's worth every dime. He's worth every dime.
He is. A lot of people, get mad and, about Josh Hart. He's worth every dime that we've given him. He brings, the grit to the team, and we need that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What do you think about this? And then I'm going to let you go.
What's up?
What do the Knicks do? Deuce right now is playing some really good basketball.
Right.
And Ron Man, the chosen, you got to call him Deuce. Ron Man, do me a favor. Just type Deuce into the chat.
Please.
You got to type Deuce into the chat. You got to call him Deuce from now on. I can't accept nothing less than you calling him Deuce from now on, Ron Man. Got to call him Deuce. All right?
Give that man respect by his name.
Because that man is hooping. So I need you to call him Deuce. Okay?
Please, bro.
Do the Knicks extend him? Do
Definitely.
the Knicks give Deuce a contract extension?
Yes. But make it a little bit more. Maybe closer, if I had to say, give him around maybe close to almost $20 million if you can.
Well, I don't know if we got the money to give him. Is he worth $20 million?
Well, I'm just keeping it kind of reasonable.
I don't know if Deuce is $20 million a year, right? I don't know. I don't know if Deuce is $20 million a year right now.
I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
$20 million though? $20 million? And do we even have the money to give Deuce $20 million?
Well, what's your estimate, Sam?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Wow.
I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm not sure what he's worth on the market right now.
Oh. Well, maybe. Well, he's getting 13, right?
No.
11. I think he's getting 11.
No. Not Deuce.
Oh, come on. I thought that was
I mean, listen, you got to understand he signed a contract when he wasn't really producing the way he's producing right now.
Okay. I see where you're going with that.
You know what I mean? So and he might be in for a career year, but right now, this season, Deuce makes $4.3 million. Next season, he makes $3.9 million.
Oh, so he's kind of declining a little.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now, I'll tell
Well,
you what. Although he only makes that amount of money, Deuce might be one of the players that has the most value on the team when it comes to being traded. Because
ooh,
he doesn't make that much money, right?
right.
He doesn't make that much money, relatively speaking. But he's young and he's got a lot of upside. He plays defense. He can knock down the three. Teams want a player like Deuce.
I feel you on that. But I know the Knicks would not be crazy just to let him go.
No. I mean, listen, they have him under contract for this year and at least one more year. But, how do you, can you extend him? Like, if I'm the Knicks, I'm negotiating. I'm talking with him. I'm trying to find a way to extend him.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with that.
And extend him at a decent price tag.
Do you think they could give him wait a minute, they don't give players franchise tags, right?
No, that's the NFL.
No, I didn't think so.
So let me tell you what the Knicks are looking like. Okay? For 26-27, you got Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart under contract. Yo Baselli has a player option. Miles McBride is under contract. All right, Dadier is a team option. Tyler Kolek is under contract. That's it. Okay, Karl Anthony Towns is $57 million. OG Anunoby is $42.5 million. Jalen Brunson is $37.7 million. Bridges is $33.4 million. Josh Hart is $20.9 million. Okay. Yabusele, 5.7. Deuce McBride, 3.9. Okay, that's going into next season. You already got Deuce under contract for next season. Now, his contract can be extended, but he would still make the 3.9 next year. In 27-28, this is when his extension would pick up. Right? So if the Knicks are going to extend him, they've got to look forward and say, okay, what's our money look like then? In 27-28, Karl Anthony Towns, a player option of $61 million. For all intents and purposes, he's taking it, unless, there's some kind of extension or something like that. Even if there's an extension, he's getting paid $61 million in 27-28. OG Anunoby makes $45 in 27-28. Jalen Brunson makes $40 in 27-28. Mikal Bridges makes $36 in 27-28. And then there's a team option for Josh Hart for 22.3, which I'm pretty positive the Knicks will pick up.
Right.
And then you got Dadier. There's a team option on Dadier for 5.3. There's a team option on Tyler Kolek for 2.4. That's all you have under contract in 27-28, $183 million under contract already. If the Knicks really value Deuce, extend him for a decent price tag. If you can't.
My estimate for him, I think if he's between 3.9 million, which is close to 4 million, I think he needs to get probably an extra 4 million, so at least around 7 or 8 million.
Okay. And you can always do a short contract. If he outplays the contract, then he has a chance to, make more money later on. But Deuce is becoming very valuable to this basketball team, and I think you got to lock him up when you can.
Right. Because it's not easy to find a player that's been really, picking up the expectations like he needed to.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You got to do it when you can.
Right, and I really liked his game since he's improved since not his second year, but this is his third year in the league now.
It's probably more than his third year in the league. Deuce been on the team for like 3 years, man.
Yep, just like I thought, 3 years. So his third year, I've been impressed with him a lot.
This is more than his third year.
No. Yeah, you're right. It's probably like his 5th year.
Yeah, this is 4th or 5th year. Deuce has been in the league for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deuce, I'm going to tell you right now. Deuce. Where is he? Right here. This is his 4th season in the league. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I think the Knicks gotta take care of Deuce, man.
I believe they
Roman
will.
Ron Man said he's a trade chip. Ron, did you say Deuce is making too much right now? That's crazy talk. He's making $3.9 million. How is that too much right now? I mean, relatively speaking. I mean, I think that's
No.
right where he probably is, and he might outplay that this season. No, I'm sorry, he's making 4.3. He makes 3.9 next year. Come on. Come on, Ron, man. Come on. Come on.
Come on, be
Come on.
realistic, bro.
4.3?
That's not too much.
4.3?
That is not too much.
It's not too
No.
much.
No.
Yabusele's making 5.5.
Yeah. He got more than Deuce do, so you cannot say Deuce is not making a lot. No. That doesn't add up. No.
Yabusele's making 5.5, and he's not giving us that. Or maybe he is just worth 5.5. I don't know. D. Cooley said half of Deuce's money is going towards taxes. That's probably the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. But Corey, I appreciate your time, man.
You know I got you,
No
Stu.
doubt. I appreciate you, brother. Peace.
You already know.
All right.
Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time for sure. I'm going to head up out of here and start getting ready for tomorrow. But I will definitely catch you tomorrow. And, yeah, remember, ladies and gentlemen, we got some good things getting ready to come up with NBK comics and other things, man. All right. Anyway, I'm up out of here. I will talk to y'all very, very soon. All right. Be peaceful. Oh, JJ, you said, do the Giants got a shot tomorrow? The Giants have had a shot in mad games that they've played in, JJ. Man, the Giants have had leads, double-digit leads, and they can't figure out how to close the game. They can't figure out how to win it. They'll have a shot, maybe. Jackson Dart will be back. But, it's just crazy how many leads they've blown against good football teams, too. You know what I'm saying? Against good football teams. And you figure if they knew how to close games, they'd be in the playoff hunt. If they knew how to close games, but they don't. They can't close games. You know what I mean? Hopefully next season, we get we get a coach that can have a little bit more discipline. We started the season with just freaking penalty after penalty after penalty after penalty, right? Shooting ourselves in the foot every single time we stepped on the field. And it led to losses. Right? It led to giving up leads. Then we kind of got that under control, and then we would dominate games but lose. So we got to figure that out. We got to, if we get a coach in that can discipline the team, maximize the talent, because there's talent on this football team. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, we had some injuries, with Malik Neighbors going out and what's his name going out. You know what I mean? Yeah, the Broncos lost. That was terrible. Yankee boy fight. That was terrible. That was the worst loss of the season, probably. 30 whatever points in the fourth quarter. That's crazy. You know what I mean? But we have a young core. Scatterbull. I couldn't think of his name. We have a young core in Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbull, and Malik Neighbors at 3 of your prime positions. Right? And then we have Robinson, who's really coming on too. You know what I mean? We have if we get a strong offensive line, which did a decent job this year, I think. The defense, a little bit more discipline from the defense, we can have a really, really strong defense. We have the makings. We have the ingredients. We need the discipline and experience. But we have the ingredients on this football team, in my opinion. We have the ingredients. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got the ingredients. And if we can we got the ingredients. We just need a coach that can discipline the team. We don't gotta be their friends. The coach don't gotta be their friends. Be tough on them, discipline them. You know what I'm saying? And we might be able to do something next year because I do think we got the talent. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right? Maybe sometime before the Giants game. I don't know when. Sometime throughout the day. I will catch y'all. Yeah, I'm out. Be peaceful, ladies and gentlemen. One. Yeah. It's coming.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.